Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode in our 2021 Olympic preview. Rowing Chat is talking country by country with local experts about the crews that they have qualified for the Tokyo Olympic Games. And today, my guest joining me here is Coen Eggencamp from the Netherlands. Welcome to Rowing Chat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor.
It's really nice to have you here. So we've got a really exciting team to talk about right now. This is perhaps the biggest team the Netherlands has ever sent to an Olympic Games, a modern Olympic Games, perhaps not 1924 because you were the hosts.
No, I think it's even bigger than in 1924. So that's really nice. Yes, I think the Netherlands not even has the biggest crew for the Dutch rowing team ever, but also now on the Olympics for rowing activity. That I don't think there's another country who has qualified that many crews as the Netherlands. So that's quite exciting. Yeah.
Very good. And of course, it all started in 2019 at the World Rowing Championships in Linz.
Yeah.
Let's start with the women. Should we start small boats first? We've got a women's single.
Yeah. I think the difficulty in the women's team is that the women's single is probably the spare of all the other crews. So even for the double, the quad. So they decided to give that place to Sophie Sauer. She is a really good single sculler, but because of her, she is how do you say it in English? She is her job is in the baby care. How do you say it?
She's a nursery nurse, kindergarten nurse.
No, for the delivery for
so she's a midwife.
Midwife, yeah. My girlfriend is also a midwife, so I could have known the term, but she's a midwife, so she has to have qualified points and that kind of things. And because of the Olympics, we're not in 2020, but in 2021, she had to work again. So she was in the quad, but went out of it, went to the single scull, and got some good results. So the head coach, Josie Verdonkscholt, placed her in a single, so every other crew could train together, and she is like a very good substitute. But I think she also have chances to row very hard in the single, and maybe to get into the final. I think that is the most
Now the women's double.
Yeah.
The heavy double. Who's in this crew?
It's a double of Lisa Scheenaert and Rose de Jong. A good double. They won a medal at a surprising medal in 2019. So I think they're in the mix for winning a medal. This season they were getting a bit up and down. Have some good results in Sabaudia at the third World Cup. But in Lucerne, their speed wasn't that good. So I think they had some injuries around that period. But if they're in good shape, I think they really are in the mix for getting a medal.
And now the big boat, the quad.
Yeah, the quad is a really exciting one. The Netherlands won the silver medal in Rio. So and I think still 2 of them are in the crew, maybe even 3. Yeah, I think even 3. So they're still a very good, experienced crew, but they had a bit disappointing season. A good start with the Europeans. I think they won the European title, but after that it went a little bit less in Lucerne and also in Sabaudia. And Sabaudia, the speed was getting better, but still I think it was only 4th place in Sabaudia. So they were a bit in trouble, but I think they're experienced enough to get the speed back. So and it's an exciting race there because China is really a good one. I think they dominate the field. And I also think a few of the Dutch girls are a bit disappointing because of the China is that good. They won silver in Rio. They really want to aim for gold now. And there's the Chinese crew who is really good. But I think when they have a good day, they're good for a medal and maybe silver. I think China will be too good. But probably they say they will aim for the gold.
Of course they will.
Yeah.
We've also got a women's straight 4.
Yeah. That's also a really exciting one because in 2019 they won the silver medal. It's a bit younger crew than the quad. In the beginning, the quad was the favorite crew of the women, and it turned a bit around in the last 2 years. So now the straight 4 is even more the crew to beat. And I think the most interesting in this field is the battle with Australia, because Australia since 2019 they didn't race each other. So our Dutch crew won the Europeans and won the World Cups, but there was no Australia. So I think in Tokyo we will see how good they are. I think the advantage of the Dutch is that they had international races and Australia didn't. But on the other hand, we don't know anything about Australian 4, so we will see.
And the American 4 as well. They haven't raced anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
The Americans are always good in the sweep for the women.
Yeah. So, but I really think they will win a medal, and which one we will see.
Now, the glorious lightweight women's double.
Yeah. They're a bit the favorites, I think. Especially now New Zealand is not entering anymore. But the head coach Josie Verdonschot, I spoke with him about it, and he said, the Kiwi pair double wasn't the favorite. I think there are a lot of a lot of favorites in that in this field. And in 2019, the New Zealand double was really good, but you never know if it's a year later it's the same or not, because of the margin in the lightweights are really small. And his kind of opinion is that every time there's another lightweight double who is going fast and faster than expected. I think in 2018 we had the Romanian double, and in 2000 and this year at the Europeans the Italian double went really fast. Yeah. So our crew only got a bronze medal there, and they didn't start in Lucerne because of some health problems. So there was a rumor about it that they weren't that fit on this moment, but in Sabaudia they surprised everyone with the world record. So they're now really.
It was a big world record, wasn't it?
So it was a big world record, 6:43. It was really fast. So I think everyone was some people had some doubts about their speed, but I think now that's over, and I think we can say that they will be the favorite again for the gold medal. I think they will be the favorite.
Fantastic. Now let's move on to the men's side. Yep. Starting small boats, we've got a single scull.
Yeah, single scull. It's a nice story. It's the son of Ronald Florijn. He won 2 times Olympic gold in 88 and 96 in the men's 8 and in the men's double. He's really young, his son, but he's also, just like the women, is the spare of the whole Dutch team. So he will not for the whole team, but for the sculling team. So he will race a single, and I think for him it's the main goal is just to get some experience there, and stand by for if one crew needs him.
Yeah. Now we've got a double scull as well.
Yeah, that's also a nice one because we have Steph Bruning in it. Steph Bruning rode in the single in Linz in 2019 and almost got a medal there, quite surprisingly, because it was his first international big race at the Worlds. But he chooses to row with the spare from that point. That was Melvin Twellaar, because in the double they had also big speed, and they changed in one World Cup they rode in the double, then in the single, and they choose where are the biggest chances for winning a medal, and then he said, I will stop with the single. And I will bet on the double. But I think since then the field is getting bigger and bigger with more names in it. So I'm not sure if it's the right choice. But he and Melvin also got really good speed. I think Last year they won the Europeans in 2020, 2021. They wasn't that good. I think they won silver or bronze. I'm not sure anymore. But still, when they are fit and when they are good, they are also in the mix for the medals and even maybe for the gold, because of the margins there are also really, really small.
You have to admit the men's single sculls field is very strong indeed.
That's really true. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the men's quad.
Yeah, I think that's our best crew from the whole Netherlands, because when they are good, they're winning their races by a big margin. And I think there are two guys in it from the 8 from 2016, and with two new talents in it since 2019. They're winning everything by a big margin. Sometimes they lose, but it's always because of they train really hard, and sometimes it's a little bit too much, and then they are not in the recovery. Their recovery is not going too soon, so then sometimes they have a bad race. But I think in Tokyo they will perform like like their best. So I think when they are on their best, they win by a big margin, and I'm really sure that they will do in Tokyo.
Yeah. Good stuff. Now on to the sweep crews. We've got a pair, a 4, and an 8.
Yeah, the Holland 8, like it's named in the Netherlands. Always the D8 is a big boat in Holland, not only because of the name and it's big, but also because of the winning of 1996 in Atlanta. Mark Emke is coaching that. Is a really experienced coach, and also in the crew are a lot of experienced guys. But the problem a bit with the 8, with the Dutch 8, is that they're not that consistently good. So sometimes they row really fast. In 2019, they almost won gold in the 8 in Linz. But this year in Lucerne, I think they were not that good. They were third, I think, in almost 10 seconds after the Germans and the British guys. And I think when they have a good race and when they're doing good, they even can win the gold medal. But there's also a chance that it's not going to work, and then you don't see them. So it's like one race they're perfect, the other race not, and why I don't know.
It's a mystery. Let's work downhill then. So now the 4.
For there's also a bit. There is also things about the 4 around here, because there was another Dutch 4 this year. So there were 2 4s, and this 4 was the 4 that qualified, was the 4 that won the Europeans in 2020. So you think it's easy, they are good enough, but there was another crew who beat them a lot in training sessions. And also in one race, I think, but almost every training session they won. So there was a big discussion about in the Netherlands about which 4, or as they're going to be another selection round. But the head coach, Mark Emke, decided he said, okay, they won the Europeans in 2020. I trust in these guys, although they lost a lot of their training races to another 4. So the 4 who's now going is the same 4 as the one Europeans, and became, I think, 8th in Linz. And it's a bit the same as the 8. When they have a good race and then they're really fast, but there is also a chance that they're not going to make it to the final. We don't know.
I have to say, as an outsider, it wouldn't be an Olympic regatta if there wasn't a controversy in the Dutch crew. There is always something.
It's always.
And so, lastly, the pair.
Yeah, the pair. That's a nice one. That's the only crew of the Netherlands that qualified through Lucerne with the qualification regatta, because we had a very good regatta in Linz in 2019. This crew is made of one guy who was in the double, I think, lost his place in the double, went to the pair with a new talent, Guillaume Krommenhoek. He is his partner right now. They had a very exciting race trials in the Netherlands in the Corona period on the Bosbaan with the 2 crews, because there was another pair from Triton with Kai Hendricks in it. He was also in the 8 in 2016, and they were racing for a place in at the Europeans, and it was a 2 out of 3 race, so you have to won 2 races, and they were all 3 really close, but that was won by this pair. And after the Europeans, where they become 4th, they had the chance to go to the qualification regatta, and they won it. So I don't count them in for a medal probably, but I think they definitely can reach the final and see what's possible there.
How hard do you think it is to peak twice in 1 year, for the qualification regatta, and then not very long afterwards?
Yeah, it's hard, but I think there are a lot of in the past. It happened a lot. My brother was in the Dutch 8 in 2004. They won the qualification regatta and they won a silver medal in Athens. And I think the British ones did it with maybe a gold one. I'm not sure, but there are enough examples of crews who did it. So I think it's hard, but it is possible.
Yeah, it's certainly the case that this is going to be the most unusual Olympics ever. We have so little evidence of race speed, except for there are little hints that someone sends you a picture of the prognostics, or from a private race.
Yeah, and I think especially with the Americans and New Zealanders and Australians in Europe, we know a bit of each other, but we don't know about them. And we even had the same with the British crew, because the British didn't go to the Europeans in 2020, and now they came in the Europeans in 2021, and everyone was a bit like, no, I think the British, they had all the problems with Corona, probably they're not that good. And when they came, their speed was really high, so with new crews, so everyone, oh, okay, that was a mistake.
Yeah, it's definitely the case that the extra year has really clearly advantaged some people and disadvantaged other people.
Yeah, and I think we had maybe the other side round, because of there in Holland there were the possibilities to train and to race were quite big, I think, in comparison to other countries. So I think that was also the case, that our Europeans in 2020 were really good. They won a lot of gold medals, but I think when you look at all the results, my conclusion was only the Netherlands and the Romanians were really on speed, and the others didn't. So, and now you see a year later, it's changing a bit. Yeah, it's changing a bit, and I think that's
it's what we want.
Yeah,
we want a fast Olympic regatta.
That's true. Yeah. But also a lot Dutch medals. Yeah.
Did I tell you my grandmother was Dutch?
Oh no! Yeah. Great.
Coen, thank you very much. It's been a delight to hear your insights, and I really look forward to this regatta. It's going to be a complete stunner.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much.
So, to the rest of our listeners, we'll be coming along with some more country predictions in the next coming days. So stay tuned.